Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to share with you an update of the first quarter of my planner and journal system. What changes I have made, whether I have dropped any of the planners or journals or added any to the lineup that I had at the beginning of the year. If you want to check out my lineup video, you can go to that because I explain in detail what are my plans for the books and journals that I'm using in detail. Now, I would also love to hear from you, okay, because I like to update myself on what others are using and gain inspiration from that as well. So please let me know below what changes you have made into your planning system as the first quarter is complete and you are entering into the second quarter. Or have you made no changes at all? Do you feel like simplifying your system by cutting down on any books? Or do you feel it is simplifying when you add more into your system? What have you done so far? I would love to hear from you. Okay, so let us begin. Now, I will just move these aside so that I can go through each one of them one by one. I will begin, of course, with my main planner, which is my Hobonichi cousin, which I have already spoken a lot of in many of my videos. This is my star attraction, if you know, from my previous videos as such. I won't go into much about this because I speak a lot about how I use it in my flip through videos and in a number of other videos as such, so you can definitely go and check that out. What I will tell you in brief is that this is my main planner and journal, more of a memory keeper in terms of journaling, and I love it. I love it so much that it's not really about the next quarter. I'm pretty sure that I'll probably use this for the entire year. So I can't see myself moving away from this, but of course you cannot predict what will happen. But as of right now, I see myself using this for the entire year. So I think I use in fact all the spreads in this book, all of them. I have a purpose for all of them and I'm loving using it. So I'm definitely going to continue using it as far as I'm concerned. But what I wanted to show you over here, I hope all the mess is clearly picking up. I wanted to show you as it is. This year I'm using a clear cover on this book and this is the first time doing it. I love it. I just want to speak to you about the pros and cons. Pros, it is lightweight. I love using this and I don't really need any pockets in my cover, so I do not require one of those Hobonichi covers or those expensive leather covers. This one is quite cheap in comparison to that. I prefer this any day over any of those other covers. Now, cons as such, it's not a con actually. If you can see the mess that is there, I'm not really careful with my book, so it gets messy pretty quickly. But at the same time, I wanted to show this to you. That is why it is there on it. If I just wipe it down, it is going to get cleaned very easily. So it is not a big con for me as such because I can just clean it off. And another thing that you can see over here, again, it's not a con. If you can see, there is space here. Okay, so this cover is a little bit loose. And the reason is simple. This one is the Midori cover, not the regular A5 cover. This is the one that they sell for their Codex. I think it's called the Codex book. And that is the one that I bought for the cousin because it is larger. And this is definitely good for those people who use stickers and washi a lot, because even if you bulk up your planner, there is a lot of give. Okay, so you can definitely consider using this for your cousin. So I wouldn't say it's a con that it is loose. It doesn't really bother me, but it might bother some people as such. And as far as the regular A5 cover is concerned, if you have bought it accidentally, just wanted to clarify that, I would suggest using the regular A5 for the cousin avec. Okay, so the two books that are there, because it is half of this book. One of those books is the half of this book, and it fits perfectly for that because I have that book and I've used the regular A5 cover on that. You can try to use it on this book, like if you try to heat it and loosen it up a little bit, but there's no need to struggle. You could just get this cover for this one. So that is all about the cover. Let's move on ahead to the actual topic about the updates as such. So this will be a part of my planning system for the second quarter as well, and it is also a part of my journaling system, and this is in fact the only book that I will probably store at the end of the year. I've stored my previous one as well, and I'll do the same for this year as well because so far I'm enjoying it. Moving on to the second one that I have over here. This is not a planner, it's just a notebook. In fact, this is the Hobonichi A6 Notebook, a used one to be more specific. What I did with this notebook is I'm using it as a sort of commonplace notebook or like a brain dump notebook. So what I did is these I tabbed it because I just had it. I didn't have to tab it. Okay, these are from one of those MD books, I think. Of course, they crumple pretty easily because they're paper. Okay, I don't really need this as such. So what I do with this notebook is I just brain dump in it. Okay, so it could be shopping lists. Okay, it could be random ideas that come to my mind, maybe for YouTube, social media, and or random things that I come to my mind, and maybe I don't have my planner right next to me to jot that down in. I dump it all in this notebook. Or if I'm too overwhelmed, there is so much going on in my mind, I just put it down in this book. Now, as far as this book is concerned, I think, barely used it in March, the month of March. I used it in Jan and Feb, but not much in March. And I think I've not used most of my planners and books in March, and there was a reason for that. And that is not reason enough for me to give up on this book. I will continue using it in the next quarter. And in fact, like I said, this is just a used notebook for me to dump whatever is overwhelming my mind. So what I will do with this book basically is I can use it even up to next year. Okay, it does not bother me. I will continue using this book till the pages are there and I can use them. Okay, so this is just a brain dump notebook for me. I love having it with me because this is where I can go completely messy in as such. I try to be a little more neater in my cousin. I know that I don't have a great handwriting, but I attempt to be because I store it for later. But here I can just go as messy as I want. So I love having this in the background if I need to use it. Okay, so the thing is, in my cousin, sometimes I cannot go as messy as that because I try to be neat there. I want to be. And here it is freedom for me. So yes, I definitely love this notebook for that, and this will stay in my system for the next quarter too. So let's move ahead to the next thing. The next one that I have is a Hobonichi Weeks. This is my social media planner for this year. This was something that I added last minute into my system towards the end of December, and I've been loving it. I have used it so regularly. I love this one. I never thought I would love it so much, but it's just been great. This is the regular weeks. Let me just go through pros and cons that I felt while using it. Just a weeks in general, in case you're interested in buying a weeks. Firstly, this cover, to be more specific, you can be rough with it as much as you want, because I carry this thing around. I know it's my social media planner, but I actually take it to work because sometimes I get time to spend on this. So I take it to work as required, take it wherever I need. And one day I remember when I came back from work, the front cover was completely bent with an entire line marking that. But when I go through the cover now, see, you cannot even see that line now. So I think this cover can tolerate a lot. So if you are someone who is like me, who is not very careful with maybe at least certain planners, you might want to consider this cover for the weeks because it can take a lot. I was surprised that it went back to its original shape pretty easily despite being bent for the whole day. And having that line at that point of time, I was worried that it would stay later, but it's good. So I would definitely recommend this cover for that. And clearly the thing is, see, I've not used any other cover on it, but because it's black probably, even the white section for that matter has not got dirty. So that is also something you could consider as far as this cover is concerned. And about it lying flat, if you're worried about it lying flat because it's a soft cover, it is not a problem. Okay, you just have to train it. Okay, it's not only about keeping it in the center, even for those last pages for that matter. Okay, you just have to train it a little bit. You can make it lie flat. Okay, it's not that you can't, you can make it lie flat. So I would definitely recommend this one, and this is also, I think, the cheapest amongst the Hobonichi Weeks covers. The others tend to grow higher in price as the different cover options are there. Now, just in brief of how I'm using it. As far as social media is concerned, one of the main things that I want is the monthly spread, which this book provided for me. Now please don't be terrified, I'm going to show you something scary. See, this is the height of mess I go into this book, and it does not bother me, okay? It does not bother me because I am extremely tired by the time I pick up this book to plan for social media, and I like to go as messy as possible. I'm showing it to you as it is, okay? It's a mess, okay? But I can understand it, and I've been loving using it as such. So what I do is I keep one of the ribbon bookmarks in my monthly section. Now coming to the next thing, okay? So I don't really need the weekly section. I'll just flip through what I have over here. So what I do basically is, see, if you can see, it's just some notes here and there, all rough planning. It's a mess, as you can see. It's nothing neat over here, okay? It's complete mess. And the dates don't matter to me, okay? This is just random for me to write down things on as such. Now my issue with this is that it's not an issue, truthfully. I'm not really sure whether I will continue using this for next year. I will definitely use the same planner for the whole year of 2022 because I've been loving it so far. But as you can see, we are at the beginning of April, and I have just used up to the week of Feb, last week of Feb, as we are at the beginning of April. So what I realized is that there are notes pages also at the back. I would probably not finish using this book at the end of the year. So all those pages are going to waste. So that worries me a little bit because I know that I'm going to use the monthly spreads, but the weekly pages and the notes pages at the back are going to go to waste. So next year, I think I won't go with this planner simply because I do not script a lot, okay? I know there are people who completely script their videos. Maybe if I do that later, this will help me, the pages as such. As of right now, the pages, I do not need so many pages. So I actually need your help with this. If any of you could recommend me a planner that has the monthly spreads, which I definitely need for a social media planner, and maybe just a few notes pages either between the monthly spreads or right at the back, either way is fine with me. I would prefer to, buy that for next year, or at least go look into that as of now, because I think using the weeks would be a waste because there are too many pages and I don't script as much. So please give me suggestions if you can, and I would love to look into that. It would be great if it is portable like this one instead of a huge coiled monthly planner, or I think I can go up to an A5 size if required, but something thinner, at least if it's an A5, or smaller like this one, like a weeks or an A6 would be great. So any recommendations from your side would be appreciated. Okay, so let's go on ahead to the next one. Now the next thing that I want to talk about is this A6. This is the Hobonichi English planner, the only English planner that they have. Now this was a failure for me, a complete failure. It was supposed to be my church planner and journal, and I used it in the month of Jan, and that's it. Feb and March were disastrous. I think I barely used it or did not use it at all. And it disappoints me because I'm disappointed in myself. This is one of the planners I really wanted to use myself. I really wanted myself to use. I just don't know what to say about this. I'm kind of extremely disappointed. But one thing I can tell you at this point is I'm not giving up on this. Ideally, I should be removing this from my lineup, but I'm not going to give up on this. I have decided to give myself a second chance and attempt using it properly in April. So just to be clear, this is a church planner and journal, not my faith planner, in the sense that I am involved in a number of church activities. So what I initially thought for this planner is the monthlies would be for all the main church events that I need to record for later reference, and the dailies would be for note taking, in the sense that notes from whatever message I listen to in church and the notes that I form from that. So none of it happened. It was a disaster, but I am going to give myself another chance and attempt using it the next month. I would love to receive any tips that you can provide me with, so that I can use this more effectively in the next quarter as such, if any of you use similar planners for that purpose. So I would love to hear from you on that. So let's move ahead. So this is, in fact, these are my work planners. I know, shocking, right? I have two of them. So let's just go through them. Firstly, I use my work planners generally from almost like a financial year sort of thing, where I start from April to March, or it's not fixed. Sometimes I start in April, sometimes I start in May, sometimes I even start in June, but it is generally one of these 3 months. And because of that, I never use a Jan start planner. I tend to prefer the academic year planners for my work purposes as such. And my previous planners for work were always the EC focus planners. They were so great for work because they look sophisticated, they work functionally. I loved it. And what happened is, however, the last one that I had was the EC agenda. So if you have seen my review on the EC agenda, you know that I loved it at that point of time. But that is exactly what happened. I loved it. I don't like it anymore. What happened is, this year, I think for the past 3 months, Jan, Feb and March, I think I used a little bit of it in Jan, but largely in Feb and March, I did not use that planner at all. I tried to use it, but I think what bothered me the most was the fact that it was heavy. Okay, this was a hectic time at work for me. I had to carry a lot of other papers, books, okay, laptop and a number of things to work, and I just didn't have the energy to carry that heavy agenda to work. Maybe if I didn't have so many other things to carry, it would have been fine. So just because it was heavy, I ended up not using it at all. And even though that planner goes all the way till May, I have stopped using it. Instead, what has happened is, I have at least decided on my planner, which I will be starting in from June. So this is a Hobonichi cousin, okay? And the reason I'm using this instead of an EC is simply because I already have it. I had got it for a video, and this is an April start cousin. And since I have it, I decided to go ahead and use it instead of buying another EC focus planner as such. So my plans for these are pretty simple. This is an April start planner, but I will most likely start using it on a daily basis from June. At the moment, I have already started updating it with important events in the monthly spreads, and also using the weekly for my daily schedule as such. Just to be clear, I cannot show you the inside of this planner because it is work related, and I think I would like to keep it private. But what I can tell you about how I'm going to use it is that monthlies are largely going to be for events, holidays, which are a lot for me, so my monthlies tend to be packed. Then the weeklies, my plan is to use it for my daily schedule. Generally, I don't use time-based planning anywhere, especially in my main planner, that is my other cousin, because my days tend to be more or less the same. So there's not much I have to write in that manner, but in my work schedule, I have a lot to write because it keeps on changing. I need times, I need the events mentioned, the meetings mentioned as such. So the weeklies are for that. The dailies are of course for all daily to-dos that I have, meeting notes and many other such things. The dailies I will most likely start using in June, not now. Currently I'm just using the weeklies and the monthly spreads on this planner, and not very actively, but I'm updating it as required. So this is something that I'm going to start from June, but I thought I would just share it with you. I have this cover on it. This is the Hobonichi cover for the A5 size from 2020, I think. And I love it. It's in black. It's designed, but I think I can carry it to work. I might put a cover on it since I have one. I don't really need to use it because this cover is not likely to get dirty easily. And I prefer this cover for work rather than a clear cover, simply because this has a lot of pockets, okay? And for work, I need all these pockets, okay? Because there are a lot of notes pages and number of other things I end up keeping in my planner, so I need pockets for that. My only issue with this one, if any of you can help me out, is this spoon. I had added this last year, I think, onto the pen loop when I was at home using this cover at home. But since I'm taking it for work, I really want to remove this, but I just can't seem to figure out how to remove it. Okay, I tried pulling it, it's not coming out, and I see the problem is it's going to be annoying for me at work. So if anyone could help me out with, how to remove this, it would be really helpful because I don't want to carry it to work. Anyway, moving on from that, now you might be wondering what is this for. Okay, at work I have been assigned additional duties which are not mine forever, in the sense that it is just that we don't have an appropriately qualified person for that at the moment. So till they find someone, I have taken up that duties to help out as such. So this is for that. The thing is, I don't write this in this one simply because there's not enough space in this one, and I don't want all those clash and confusion to come in over here. Similarly, if they find someone, I will be dropping this section, so I don't need it in this. Okay, and also because of the fact that this is lightweight, and when I go here in this building, this is in another building, I don't really need this. I can just carry this lightweight book and go there. So yeah, this is just an additional thing. This is an April start planner, but I have to say that I have loved using this. It is an April start, but as you know, the Hobonichi weeks has an extra month. So I started using this in March, and it is so good for that purpose that I am so tempted to continue to do this work just because of the planner. I don't want to do it as of otherwise. Just because I want to use the planner, I want to continue with this work. But I have to say, I've been loving this planner. I am using it without a cover. So far it's good. I'm not sure how it will survive long without a cover because there are marks coming up on this, unlike my other week's cover. So let's see how this turns out. But I find this a beauty as of otherwise. So that's about it as far as my work planners are concerned. What about you? What do you use for work? Do you use a Techo for work, a Hobonichi, or some other planner? I was initially a lot concerned about using a Hobonichi for work because I'm an EC focused planner person for work. It has been something that has been working for me, and this change was huge for me because changing from something I love using to something new was really scary, but so far so good. And my only prayer is that I don't fall into the trap of the new EC focused planners and end up buying that for work when I'm already happy with this. So anyway, this was all for my Q1 update. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed to my channel, please do so. See you all in my next video, guys. Bye.